6 months ago, Crimea became a part of Russia. What do you think about that situation? Is it escalation or is it a normal legal process? How sad that after hosting a very successful Olympics, that they go in and take over Crimea. How sad. And how sad the way that he did it, and how sad that he sent Russian troops, and how sad, I think he's got to be like, I don't have anything against gay people, but I think Putin's gay. Because too much of the chest and riding the horse and just the way he does it. I'm like, honey, you have a big problem that you're not recognizing. And if he was gay, that, came out and said, I'm gay, that's okay. But, to go in, to send troops, to harm people, to take away their homes, to take away their country, just so you have more land that gets you closer to the water for your oil, and aren't we supposed to be starting to do conservation? Aren't we supposed to be worrying about climate warming? Russia isn't going to be spared from that. So find different ways to make money for your country.
You mean the Russians think it's okay to take Crimea? Do they think it's okay to take the whole of Ukraine?
I don't know.
Well, I think we do need to have some rules about when one country takes part of another country. If the Crimea became independent of Russia and Ukraine, and then, later decided to join Russia, no problem.
The Crimea is a funny, funny little thing, because they've been bouncing back and forth all over the place since the Tsars.
I think it's a provocation by Russia. I think they're viewing our country at a vulnerable moment, and the European Union at a vulnerable moment, and trying to take advantage of weakness in the other world powers to annex a gas-rich area of the Ukraine.
Yeah, it's politics. It's politics. It's a game. Crimea was part of Russia. No, Crimea was independent. Crimea was part of this. I can remember it was the Prussians, the Russians, the whatever. They've been all over the place. You want them? What do the Crimeans want, really? My sense is that the people in Crimea and even the people in East Ukraine actually would choose, in Crimea they did choose to be part of Russia. And so I think that's probably the situation. There are some people in East Ukraine who want to be part of Russia. The unfortunate thing is that we have political lines in the sand. We're human beings who inhabit land, and that's the world we need to be working towards, where it's not, I'm Russian or you're Ukraine or anything else, but human beings living together on the planet.
And it's going to keep happening, and I'm afraid something really bad is going to happen in a lot of countries in that area, could be even the United States, So, and I don't approve of any of that. But I'm not in the White House, and if it were, they would probably have already thrown me out, because I would have to say what I think about their bullshit.
Putin is probably extending his hand a little too far in things, and I have a feeling that it wasn't all kosher, to say the least.
The impression I have of President Putin is small-minded. Again, I think he thinks of himself, I think he likes to think of himself as a big man. Putin is a very clever man. That is not a stupid man. I think 10 years is enough. Because if you're going to make a stamp, if you're going to create history, if you're going to leave your mark on the world in history, if you've had 10 years, especially as a leader of a country like Russia, then you've had your chance. And if you haven't made it a better place, then that's your failure as whoever you are.
Well, I definitely think he's a tyrant. He doesn't allow certain social media to be broadcast. He doesn't allow certain demographics to be involved in the Olympics. So like, then right there, it's just to have such a person in power to have control over so many people for so long, it's a tyranny. That's what it is. And honestly, to have someone take care of that, to remove him, would be to make it more of a democracy, so that people, the power is within the people and not within the government, or at least the people who are running it. So yeah, I don't like his policies.
It's not great. It's not true greatness, which comes from the heart, which is open. That's what makes a person great. I do not see that in President Putin.
I don't really know much about his actual policies. You know, we also are subject to what the American media feels like telling us. So I don't even really know what his policies really are, but it would be easier, I think, if people could be, the leaders of Russia and the United States could be a little more open and communicating with each other instead of trying to trick each other.
Putin is being reactionary. Putin is like the French and the French language. Once upon a time, French was the diplomatic language of the world. Everyone spoke French. Your passport was written in French. And the French haven't come to terms with the fact that English, unfortunately, has become the dominant world language. And they're bitter, okay? And Putin is reacting in the same sort of way that Catherine the Great would have reacted to reclaiming a certain level of Russian glory, a Russian pride. The Russians have a lot to be proud of.
I think he's gay. I also think that he's an egomaniac, and I don't think that he should be the president very much longer. I think he's usurped as much power as he possibly can, and it doesn't always work out for him. And, you know, to take away more land because he is, and his troops are there, and when we have a tragic accident of a plane being shot down, then going in, closing it down to everybody, not letting the people who were from all over the world retrieve those things of their loved ones. Staging, shooting a tiger. Tigers are an endangered species. Please, give me a break. Bare-chested on his horse. I just have to turn off the internet when it's like, oh my God. You know, the gentleman, well, that's loosely used for me. He is the president of a large country with rich history and rich traditions.
That's pain. That's a lot of pain. Go. You can't go forward. So you think. They have to be proud of something. They have to be proud of being Russian for whatever it is, even if it's food, if it's ballet, if it's the arts, whatever it is. It can be proud of the fact that it is one of the most modern languages in the world and has the least inconsistencies. Whatever it is, they have to have something. And Putin is giving them something. He's giving them something in the old world tradition. I don't agree with that. It's a new world. We need new answers. We can't just keep on having the same old stupid answers that we've had for hundreds and thousands of years.
I don't have any idea. I've never even thought about how I could stop it.